What's up, guys? So here is the MOLLE 2 medium rucksack after it's been modified, and I figured I'd showcase this setup, which I'm particularly happy with. So let's get right into it. First off, just one little thing to note that I just noticed when I set up the pack. After I dyed it with camel, one full bottle of camel from Rit Dye, plus a splash of apple green, but the teeth on the zippers turned chocolate brown, because what you see on the outside is a nice kind of tan color where the white used to be, and then mossy greens where the grayness used to be in the camel pattern. But on the inside, as you can see, this is like a dark red, a Bordeaux, or a red wine kind of color. So camel is tricky like that. For example, when I dyed, different dye job, but the same recipe, one of these pouches, for example, these utility pouches, turn the webbing chocolate brown, as you can see, whereas another was like pretty much green. So camel is a tricky one. There was a viewer who was mentioning he had some trouble with camel just recently, so it's definitely a tricky one because it doesn't always yield consistent results. So that's why I add a touch of apple green, just to kind of steer the webbing into turning into a nice green. And on this pack, it did. Look at that, beautiful. See if there we go, without the sunlight hitting it. This is a nice green color, by the way, guys. But wow, this is looking good now. And the thing is, initially when I took it out, when it was wet, it looked really ununiform. Really really weird like that, because some patches were so dark and others were really light. Whereas now that it's dried up, it actually looks uniform throughout. There's no like darker spots or anything like that. So really nice like that. But again, it's camel, so it's risky. But it worked. It worked out really well. And the utility pouches, I figured I'd put on this pack. Initially, I had them on my MOLLE 2 rucksack. Then I decided, well, seeing as it's only two of them, I might want to put them on the assault pack. Tried it on the assault pack, but then they were too long, so they extended below the bottom of the pack itself. So I didn't really like that solution. I ended up putting canteen carriers. But in this case, on this pack, they work flawlessly, because they take up exactly all the PALS webbing available and still leaves just enough room so it doesn't, touch on the ground once you set this down, so it doesn't, scrape. I like that. I really like that. So in the end, the utility pouches, also in UCP, these were by Cordura. See if I can find the fabric tags somewhere. I'm sure I've seen it. There it is. Cordura brand UCP fabric. So really nice like that, by G-Tech. Really good pouches like that, and they fit a canteen. They'll fit a mess kit, multi-purpose like that. They're not just canteen carriers, although I most likely will use them for canteens. But and then wow, look at this, guys. It just looks so good. The inside of the pack, as I was mentioning, the inside of the fabric turned into this really dark red, but then the gray sleeves and what have you turned to this nice kind of military grayish green, which is really neat like that. See if I can show you on the inside of the pack as well. Actually, one thing I forgot to mention is that all the reviews that I saw on the MOLLE 2 medium rucksack were basically a lot of the people were complaining that it didn't have compression straps. And so I had these compression straps on in my watch list for the longest time. These were by Fly Industries, and they came with a male buckle, and they're perfect like that because they have the snap-on button. See if I can do this on camera. And I basically just purchased some D-rings. I thought they were in coyote brown, but turned out to be tan, still good. And figured, why not? You know, it gives me a reason to buy them. And yeah, then I had the female buckles by Spiritus Systems, the repair buckles with, as you can see. So one thing that I saw from one of the videos from Paxton Creek Supply, he basically used one of these buckles to attach side compression straps. In his case, he used a strap with a tri-glide to attach it to an Alice frame, but in this case, it wouldn't work on this frame. So I had to basically purchase these straps, which were a real find, really nice find. And the webbing, for example, is in this really nice tan color with just a hint of green, so it really matches the color, matches the pack really well. You know, it complements the pack really well. The the buckle and the Grimlock are in tan, but the female buckle here is in coyote brown. And then I had some coyote brown, almost like a dark tan strap keeper, so I figured I'd add these two. This was quite an expensive addition because the straps cost me $10 plus $5 in shipping. The buckles, the female buckles, cost me $10 plus $5 in shipping, and the Grimlocks cost me another $5 plus $5 in shipping, so €40. And that's not even counting these. If I really want to add an extra cost of this, at least €1 to €2 per strap times 4 straps. So quite an expensive addition, but I figured that it was quite necessary. Everyone seemed to keep complaining about that this pack doesn't feature compression straps, and I figured, hey, I found the compression straps basically, and they look really neat like that, you know. But all the various components that I had to source from different sellers, you know, obviously ended up being quite pricey. And even then, I got a really good deal on all these little bits and bobs. So, but yeah, it looks so good. And in here, for example, I'm actually thinking up top, because down here, it's got the PALS webbing. Look at that, and this extends quite nicely all the way to the outside of the pack. That's where Paxton Creek Supply, the guy from Paxton Creek Supply attached his, on the outside, just here on the end. I was initially going to attach it here, but then I thought, no, maybe he's right. Actually, it will just compress a lot better from this end. So yeah, figured I'd throw in this little pouch here. Why the hell not? Works. You know, I had an extra one, so make use of the PALS webbing and just, you know, all within the same kind of camo. So it looks good like that, just flows seamlessly with a pack. So look at that, guys. Compression straps on the sides, down bottom, which are really good because they wrap all the way around the pouch. And the thing is also, the Grimlocks actually have this little slot. Let's see if I can show you guys. Take this out for a second. They have this, see? They have this slot, so you could slot the webbing through, but then they would be anchored on directly, you know, kind of like perpendicular, if you see what I mean. Whereas I'm just going to keep them loose like that just because I have the feeling that if I want to change the setup, it's going to be a little bit harder to get that out. Like, so I'm just going to keep it loose for now. It's not, you know, it still works. It still works perfectly fine, so I don't feel the need to go in there and and just fiddle with it. But yeah, the compression straps was one of the main additions, I have to say, to this pack, and it looks really good. See if I can show you from there. We go. Looks really nice, guys. And yeah, I was thinking, seeing as this row, I'm using this row right now to compress this side here, but there isn't really much to compress. I was thinking of potentially having a strip of webbing sewn either here or on the front, and then attaching these all the way out here. But that's for, I'm still debating whether I should do that or not. The cost wouldn't be too much, I think, but I just don't want it to look like a hack job. That's my only fear. But yeah, moving on. So the Velcro turned a nice kind of OD, really nice like that. That's the apple green for you, because the apple green takes right away. For example, in fact, some of the webbing already started looking green as soon as I threw it in the dye mix. But then the tan starts to really work itself through over time, so you really need to soak it in for as long as possible. Pardon me, not the tan, the camel. In order to get that tan color, you really got to soak it in considerably in order to get that shade. But man, does it look good. This is beautiful. I really love this. It's basically anywhere from light tans here to dark tans there, and mossy greens all around. Really nice like that. So moving on to the main pack, just have my sleeping bag in there. Just wanted to show you the inside. Let me see if I can take it out quickly. So as you can see, guys, the inside of the pack is like a full dark red. So this is what tan will yield on the inside of the Cordura fabric. But the outside is a dark tan. So really nice like that. And yeah, just wanted to show you like all the webbing, initially was that nasty kind of gray color. Whereas now it's like a really nice OD. Beautiful like that. All the fabric as well here was initially really just like gray, whereas now it's pretty much like a grayish OD, looking really good like that. So yeah, moving on. One thing that I wanted to put just up top, or up front rather, is this pouch here by NFM. Ran into another one of these pouches, and I didn't dye this because the last one that I dyed took the dye really well, and it turned even darker than what I had planned. So, and with camel, I don't know what it could have turned out. It could have turned out chocolate brown for all I know. So I figured I'd just leave it in this beige kind of color. It's not too bad. But I want to slap it on there, and it's got inside this. I haven't so far just because I wanted to really show you guys the camel and just how good it looks, man. It just, oh wow. This turned out really well, actually. I'm so pleased. When I took it out yesterday, that's the thing. I just had all these different shades of either really dark or really light, pale tan or really dark kind of coyote brown. Whereas today, now that it's fully dry, it's nice and uniform. But yeah, just what I'm aiming for as well as, we'll see if this focuses. So in here, I've got my pack cover, Real Tree Camouflage. And that's the thing. What I'm aiming for is, something that would look good in the autumn period when a lot of the yellows and the browns start coming out with the foliage and all that. But yeah, I just plan to slap this on here. It's a really thin pouch. Plus, it just has its place there. So I don't want to accessorize it with too many pouches up front here, just because, or at the back here, rather. Just because the pack is quite thick already, so I don't want to add too much weight. But just this extra little pouch with a pack cover, I think, is going to look good and, ultimately be super functional. Just have it there, take the pack cover, put it on. I already tried it, so works beautiful like that. But what can I say, guys? It's looking decent. I'm actually really happy of this dye job. Then what we have for the suspension system is the Eagle Industries MOLLE Rifleman's waist belt. I'm not entirely sure which pack this is designed to go on, but it works perfectly on this frame. And even though it's missing the side flaps, I kind of like this design. It's similar to the Italian Army rucksack, the same kind of shape. And the thing is, it still provides more padding than the standard issue waist belt. So it definitely lacks the padding on the sides, but it provides more padding on the back, and that's where I want it anyway, because I don't want that plastic frame to dig into my sides or into my back. So I'm really happy like that. Added a tan sternum strap, because why not? And I went with some sun-faded OD shoulder straps, Alice shoulder straps, which, look at that, guys. They complement the pack really nicely. The greens pretty much match. You know, the webbing as well is faded. It's in excellent condition, but it's just a bit faded, I guess. Otherwise, it would have been this set, but this set is in like full-on OD, and that already looks a bit more aggressive. So I went with something a bit more muted like that. I think it blends really well. And yeah, the thing is, when I bought this pack, I had the frame, I had the kidney pad, so I figured the only thing that I'm missing is the shoulder straps. And I wasn't familiar with this design, but I checked the pictures, and it had the ladder locks up here and the D-rings down here. So I figured, you know what? I can slap a pair of Alice shoulder straps, no problem. And this should do the trick. One of the reviews that I saw as well said that the Alice shoulder straps are actually a little bit thicker. The MOLLE 2 rucksack, or medium rucksack, shoulder straps are wider than the Alice, but the Alice are thicker. So I figured this is actually not just a cheap fix, it's actually a good fix, you know, a good, I might have, the thing is, I don't have the others to compare, but I put on some really nice and chunky, as you can see, shoulder straps, and they look really good nonetheless, you know. I don't think it looks too much like a Frankenstein, although it is a Frankenstein, but a really nice looking Frankenstein, in my opinion. Obviously, the beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but, you know, I'm liking it so far, guys. I'm really liking it. Also added these pouches on the sides. I think these are for flashlights or whatever. But yeah, these would look really good. Trying to really make the camo shine through. Initially, I had these on my 8s pouch. I made a video on that. It's basically almost like a saw pouch, but a bit more, you know, a bit more goodies on there. But then I thought, nah, this would look good on the pack. So I've got one on each side. Perfect for some flashlights. And just to have at hand there. Really nice like that. Maximizes, you know, the field of pals webbing available and makes use of it, and it just looks aesthetically pleasing. You know, it matches the camo perfectly, so it doesn't look like a jumble of different pouches. Looking good, guys, looking really good. Man, I'm really proud of this one, I have to say. Oh, forgot to mention, added some tan straps here at the bottom, just for the sake of having some straps, because you never know if you might want to strap a sleeping mat or a tent or whatever. I guess the option is there, so I just added these. Had these extra straps fashioned from the tailor. Just had the little ladder locks sewn in place, and had these extra straps that I took off some pack or other. So yeah, and everything in tan, looking good, you know, matching the frame and the suspension system. So this is definitely a nice mix and match kind of Frankenstein, you know. The frame as well is from the OCP version, but on this version, and that's the thing, the Eagle Industries rifleman waist belt was, I'm not sure for what pack this is, but it just works so well on this pack, and I'm really glad. The overall price that all of this cost me is quite a bit, but the thing is, the pack, for example, was online for 50 euros for the longest time, and at 50 euros I decided not to purchase it. I was looking at either this or I was just looking at this, and then the Spec Ops THE pack in UCP came up last year, and I decided to purchase that because it was 30 euros, plus I didn't need to source all the different components. But then all of a sudden one day it jumped down to 30, and I was like, okay, let me push the limit, offer 25. They accepted, so with shipping ended up being 31 euros. I still would have paid 30 plus shipping, but I'm glad I didn't. So I'm glad I got a really good deal on that. The most expensive component, in fact, probably were the frame, and most importantly the Eagle Industries kidney pad. The frame was 25 plus, with shipping ended up being 42 euros. So a little pricey, but still a fair deal, I would say. The MOLLE 2, or rather the MOLLE Rifleman waist belt by Eagle Industries, on the other hand, was 35 euros plus shipping. But the thing is, I bought a whole bunch of things, so I guess I can kind of just guesstimate another 5 in shipping, for this component. So still another 40 euros, 35 to 40 euros just for the kidney pad, which cost me more than the pack itself. But all in all, and like I said, the side straps, these extra pouches, everything, when you take into account all the different components, they definitely cost me quite a bit, definitely over 200 euros. But I saved quite a bit of money because, at least on my side of the pond, these packs go from anywhere from a minimum of 150 to probably 200, and I've seen them all the way to 280. So anywhere from 150 to 280, really. Average price around 200 euros, maybe 200 something. So, and the thing is, depending on the condition as well, this was brand new, the pack at least. Well, actually, pretty much all the components are brand new, actually. The shoulder pads, the Alice shoulder pads, are in excellent condition, but, it looks good. It looks so good, actually. I'm really happy with this final result. What do you guys think? Looking absolutely beautiful. I really like the utility pouches on the sides here because they're just a bit more multi-purpose than just canteen carriers, even though I will be using them for canteens, but they just complement the pack really nicely with the kind of signature camo, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So what can I say, guys? 20 plus minutes in. I hope you enjoyed this episode, breaking down all the various mods and additions to this pack. And hope I covered everything. Trying to think if there's something that I didn't cover, but no, looks like I covered everything. And what can I say, guys? It's looking good. I'm really happy with the end result, I have to say. Really, really, really happy. So all I can say is, I guess I'll see you once I test this guy out, take some pictures out in nature. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.